right, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Leagues Cup press conference before our match against Club Tijuana on Thursday.
Recording in progress.
We are joined by the Timbers' new head coach, Martí Cifuentes. We'll start with questions in the room, and then we will take questions online if there are any. We'll go ahead and start with Jeremy, and please introduce yourself and your outlet for Martí.
Jeremy Pierman, Cascadia FC. Welcome to Portland, Martí. This isn't the first time you've taken over a club in the middle of the season. What has been the main difference between this one and the other times that you've had to go through this?
Well, I mean, every situation is different. Obviously, in this case, we had to wait a little bit for all the visa approval and so on. So it was interesting, I will put it this way, to watch the games from Barcelona with a big time difference. But glad that I think that both the players, Jack, all the staff did a fantastic job. So yeah, it's always, you learn obviously from previous experiences on how to approach those situations in the middle of the season, especially now. It's a very busy, congested schedule ahead of us in the next couple of weeks, so we need to be ready. But yeah, I think that I'm pretty confident about, together with the staff, with the players, to make sure that we find a good balance between the new ideas that we want to introduce, and as well keep the foundation. That is one of the main reasons why I came here. I think it's a solid foundation, good players, a club that is well organized, well structured, and yeah, happy to finally be here.
Hi, Marty. Tyson Alger with the I-5 Corridor. I'm just curious, what have you been doing for the last 7 months or so, and what was it like to get back out on the pitch today and be with your team?
First of all, gaining too much weight, so I need to go down. That's for sure. But yeah, we've been in Barcelona mostly, but traveling a lot, trying to watch a lot of games, trying to visit different clubs. So actually, I was going around Europe just to learn from other coaching staff, other coaches, other ways of playing, training, organizing a club. So it's been an interesting moment. It was some opportunities to be back to the game earlier, but I wanted to take that time because it's been quite intense over the last years for me. And I wanted to take that time to perhaps take new ideas, to stop, reflect about my last experiences. And I got a lot of energy now. So ready to push, and actually, it's, as I said, it's especially very, very good to feel that, be back in the pitch, be back with the players, and in some way you feel that you belong.
Art Edwards from KGW TV. You've had a chance to at least see a video of the team. What are your impressions so far, really, in this last stretch since Jack Cassidy has been in charge?
I think it's been great to see how well Jack and the rest of the staff obviously has done a fantastic job with the players. I'm sure Phil did a lot of great things for this club. I know Phil obviously from my stage in England, and he's a good coach. But sometimes it just a change is needed, and that's perhaps what happened for both sides. And I'm very respectful about the process that the club has been through. I think the way Merit has managed this period is excellent, and especially to praise the players, because the step up, the accountability that they show says a lot and means a lot for me. So the last 6 games obviously were perhaps a bit disappointed about the second half against America, but as well America is a very good club, is a very good team, and that shows that there is still a lot of things that we can improve. But so far it's been brilliant job from Jack, because it's not easy to be in the position that he was, but he showed that he's all in here for the club, and big kudos to him.
Adam Sussman, Timber Review. Marty, 4 games in 10 days like we talked about. So in the few training sessions you do actually have, what are you trying to implement there?
Yeah, as I said, we need to find a very good balance, because mostly it's about recovering. Especially we're going to fly to Chicago, which is it's not a short trip for sure. These few days it's about recovering well. America game was quite demanding, so we need to find a balance, especially when you come in the middle of the season. It's always not only the new ideas, but as well a new way of training, new way of coaching, new training methodology, and that can take some time. So we need to find a good balance with the rest of the staff on how we want to do things, how quick we can introduce certain ideas, and as well we be smart, because as I said, this transition period has been good for the team, and the team is responding. So in the beginning probably we will not change too many things.
Your first game for the club, it looks like by the time it kicks off, it could be a dead rubber kind of match given the way the league's cup table is looking at. So how are you preparing specifically for this game, given that the team could already be eliminated by the time the game kicks off?
Yeah, it's a pity because I think that on the overall, on these two games and the League's Cup has been very good. As I said, perhaps the only weaker period has been the second half against America, but otherwise I think the first half was brilliant. The game against Puebla was very strong. So it's a pity that eventually we could be in that position. Anyway, we're gonna wait until tomorrow to understand what can happen, what's going to be the situation for the game. My approach anyway is always to respect every competition. The mindset is going to be always to win. Doesn't matter what is the situation. And obviously the approach might change a little bit depending on what is the scenario. But my mindset here, and one of the main reasons why I came to Timbers, is because I feel that this organization has the potential to win and to fight for titles. And I said that to the players as a main message. Let's introduce that winning mentality in everything we do, from the small-sided games in the training to the friendly game, in a very respectful way, always respecting the position. But that's the approach that we're going to take. Try to win the game. Try to see, of course, as many players as we can, and see how do they respond. But I think that we're going to approach it in a very, very, with a lot of energy. That's for sure.
We'll take questions in Spanish.
Yeah. Profe, mi nombre es Enrique Caicero, el Mañanero Deportes. Bienvenido a Portland. Me agrada mucho su positivismo. Se ve más serio en las fotos, dije. Creo que es más serio. Profesor, ¿qué viene usted a aportar a Portland? Especialmente ahora que deja Jack un estándar muy alto, ¿no? Porque dejó varios buenos partidos y la afición se fue muy contenta.
Sí, es normal que la afición esté contenta con Jack porque hizo un excelente trabajo y hay que reconocérselo. He estado en contacto con él cada día. De hecho, ahora, después del partido de América, nos pidió un par de días libres y bien merecidos los tiene, porque creo que hizo una labor fantástica y es normal que la afición esté muy contenta con él. Yo intentaré demostrarle a la afición el por qué tanto Ned como Merritt piensan que soy la persona adecuada. Yo vengo con mucha confianza de que creo que esto puede ser muy bueno para todas las partes y evidentemente vamos a intentar aprovechar todo lo bueno que no solo Jack, sino como decía, todo lo bueno que Phil hizo, todo lo bueno que el club ya tiene con todo el staff, que algunos de ellos tienen muchos años de experiencia en el club. Entonces vamos a intentar aportar como hacemos en todos los clubes, intentar dejar nuestro sello, sobre todo en cómo entendemos el juego, la manera de jugar. Quizá va a ser el cambio más grande, pero entendiendo que hay una muy buena base y eso creo que es una de las razones por las cuales quise venir aquí.
Question from Enrique Caicedo is, Coach, I enjoy your positivity. What are you bringing to Portland, especially now that the standard is high after Jack and the fans were happy with Jack's results? Coach says it's normal that they're happy. He's done a great job, Jack Cassidy, and I've been actually in contact with him. He asked for some days off afterwards, and I think they're very well earned. I'll try and demonstrate why Ned and Merritt believe in me and believe that I'm the right one. I'm confident that this will be a good fit for all of us. I'll bring my game. I'll take advantage of everything that's been happening down here. We'll leave a mark here, and we'll help the players understand the game that we bring.
He said as well that I'm more serious in the pictures than in life.
Martí, buenos días. Espero que sea una estadía muy positiva acá en Portland Timbers, Telemundo Portland. Y quería preguntarte acerca de los jugadores tienen sus referentes en el fútbol. Quería saber si es que tú también tienes algún referente, en qué se basa tu ideología de juego y aún existe la posibilidad de tener jugadores nuevos, si es que planeas también poder concretar alguna llegada.
Sí, claro que tengo referentes. Creo que como cualquier chico que jugó al fútbol, pues evidentemente tenía mis ídolos, mis jugadores que me gustaban. Pero bueno, yo nací y crecí en Barcelona, en la época que Johan Cruyff fue entrenador del Barcelona y evidentemente pues eso me hizo creó una gran influencia en mí, no solo como jugador, sino en la manera de ver el fútbol. Entonces yo creo que desde esa época muchos entrenadores, no solo en Cataluña, pero en España, en muchas partes de Europa, pues tenemos un poco esa influencia de lo que llaman el juego posicional, el juego de posición. Al final, pues el querer atacar mucho, el querer ser protagonista del partido, el querer tener la pelota para atacar. el respetar un poco también, pues bueno, un poco las posiciones, pero tengo mucha libertad, con entender muy el juego y defender arriba, intentar recuperar el balón lo más rápido posible. Entonces, bueno, mi influencia más grande es Johan, pero evidentemente luego ha venido Pep, que le ha dado una vuelta a todo esto y es un gran referente también para mí, pero hay grandes entrenadores, Luis Enrique, yo creo que hay muchos entrenadores que de alguna manera te influyen, pero al final también creo que el fútbol pertenece mucho a los jugadores. Y yo creo que la estrella del equipo siempre tiene que ser los jugadores, no el entrenador. Yo estoy aquí creo que es Ancelotti que dice a veces, ¿no? Lo mejor que podemos hacer es no molestar mucho. Entonces yo quiero que los jugadores demuestren esas calidades que tienen y ayudarles a demostrar todo ese potencial con una idea de juego que espero que a los aficionados de aquí de Portland pues les guste, porque va a ser de intentar atacar, de ganar cada partido y de hacer un juego que sea bonito.
The question is, the players have examples that have influenced their style of game. What is an example or an idol of yours, and is there any possibilities of bringing new players to the club? Martí says, like any kid who plays, I had my idols growing up in Barcelona. Johan Cruyff was that person for me. He was a great influence, not just as a player, but in the way to see the game. All over Europe, actually, in fact, you can find that influence. You know, we're going to try and bring a possession-based game, attacking and being the protagonist on the field. We're also going to be able to respect the roles, but at the same time have the freedom to defend up and down the pitch. My job, to be honest, it also was influenced by people like Pep Guardiola and Luis Enrique. I think there's a lot of influence ultimately in soccer that belongs to the players, as they're the stars, not the coach. Kind of like how Ancelotti said, I'm here to not bother as much. So I'll help bring my ideas, and hopefully the supporters will enjoy the style of football that we play.
Y respecto a la pregunta que me decías de traer jugadores, bueno, el mercado está abierto. Evidentemente, junto con Ned, buscamos siempre, y Jack, buscamos la mejor manera de reforzar el equipo, y es posible que vayamos a ver alguna cara nueva.
In regards to the second part of your question regarding the possibilities of bringing new players, the market is currently open. You know, I'm working with Ned and Jack to look for the best possible way to reinforce this team.
One more question in Spanish.
Profe, una más sobre el partido que viene. ¿Qué tanto conoce usted de Cholos y si conoce al jugador mexicano Morita que tanto quiere la afición mexicana?
Sí, por supuesto, claro. Hemos hecho nuestro trabajo para preparar el partido. Hoy ha sido sobre todo con nuestros jugadores un poco introducir algunas ideas de nuestra manera de jugar, pero evidentemente a partir de mañana todo el foco va a ser para preparar el partido lo mejor posible, respetando mucho al rival. Sí, hemos estado viendo cuántos partidos hemos podido ver y analizándolos bien, y desde luego Mora es un chico muy talentoso que ya demostró que muy temprana edad ya está jugando con la absoluta y tiene mucho talento. Entonces vamos a intentar lo que decía, respetar mucho al rival, pero también ser nosotros mismos, entendiendo que ellos van a tener virtudes, pero también van a tener una serie de puntos que esperemos atacar.
Question is, have you been able to check out the upcoming game? How do you see Xolos, and what do you think about Gilberto Mora, who is very well liked in Mexico? You know, we're doing our job to prepare. Today's been more of an introductory session, introducing our ideas to the players, and tomorrow we're going to be able to focus on the upcoming game. We'll, of course, be able to respect our opponents. Mora is a very talented player, and we try and respect them, but at the same time, we're going to try and exploit any area where we can gain an advantage.
Okay, we'll take one question on Zoom from Aaron Heinzen. Aaron, go ahead when you're able.
Hi, Martí.
Hi.
Aaron Heinzen, Portland.
Paula, turn it up a little.
My
Aaron.
question is in your meetings with the players, what did you say to them? How do you communicate with them about everybody, guys that are playing a lot on the team and guys that are not? Thank you.
Yeah, well, it has been an introduction talk. Obviously, when we have such a busy schedule, it will be a lot of individual talks just to get to know them. But mainly, my main message has been very clear that we need to keep pushing. What they have been done over the last weeks has been a good foundation for what we want to build in here. And now we need to not only maintain that level, but to improve. And the main message for me is that the reason why I came here to Portland, obviously, MLS is a league that is growing. Obviously, after the World Cup is an exciting moment to help or to try to be part of the growth of soccer in this country. That I'm looking forward to experience the atmosphere at Providence Park. But the main reason why I came here is because I think that this team, this together with these fans, we have the potential to win and to fight for titles. So that's why I'm here. I want to win, and I think that Portland can give us the chance to do it.